Hey everyone, it's Noah from Knights of 67, back with more Siege of Orgrimmar guide for you for World of Warcraft patch 5.4 Siege of Orgrimmar raid. Now, today's fight is going to be Immerseus. He will be the first fight in Siege of Orgrimmar. And this one was quite interesting. It was a bit unbalanced in the fact that the hitbox for him, as far as melee is concerned, was very, very small. But I expected it to be much larger come launch. But with that being said, let's get into the fight itself. Now, you see he has 74 million health, which is extremely low. So what the heck is going on with this fight? Well, you notice that he also has a bar 100 out of 100. This is known as his corruption bar. The goal of the Immerseus fight is to get him down to 0 corruption. How do you do this? Well, I'll get into that as the fight goes on, but I figure I need to go over the mechanics for the Immerseus phase itself, and then I will get into how you bring his corruption bar down. So, with that being said, let's get into the thick of things here now, shall we? Now, the first ability you want to watch out for in this Immerseus phase is called Shawbolt. He will hit every single player in the raid with Shawbolt, which will create the Shaw puddles that you are seeing on screen that are blackish in color. They will hit you for 75k every second you stand in them, so naturally you want to move out of the way. They will build up slowly over time, so you do want to manage where you stand. You want to make sure you don't get in the way of where anyone else is standing, or problems will occur. Now, like I said, his hitbox was very, very small in the PTR, but come launch, it should be significantly larger, so you don't have to worry about what I'm doing here on screen. The Shawbolt is definitely a major concern because it creates so many puddles as you're seeing on screen, but that isn't the only thing. Also, the major ability Swirl is a major issue. What you're seeing on screen, he goes around in this cone, and you need to avoid it, otherwise it will do about 170k each tick. As you see, it pretty much just one-shot me, as well as knocked me back. But that's not all. During the swirl phase, there will also be these little additional puddles going around in addition to the Shaw puddles. They will spout up water, and you must avoid them, or they will hit you for about 100k and knock you up in the air. So, in addition to avoiding the initial swirl cone that he creates, you must also avoid the puddles that are going around, in addition to the Shaw puddles, which were already created by Shawbolt. You see what I'm getting into here? So, it definitely requires much attention, and if one person screws up, it could really compromise the entire raid group. So, you need to pay attention at all costs. As far as general debuffs, there really isn't anything to worry about. But if you are a tank, you do need to worry about Corrosive Blast. If you are his main target, which obviously as a tank you will be, he will hit you for 600k. But since you have numerous absorb abilities and all kinds of stuff like that, it's not really that big a deal, but it will cause a debuff which will increase your shadow damage dealt by 100% for 45 seconds. So that is a concern. So make sure to keep your necessary cooldowns up until Corrosive Blast is getting ready to hit you. Now, let's say, oh wow, these Shaw puddles everywhere are getting quite a handful, as well as Swirl. I think I'll stand in the boss's platform. Bad idea. Now, you would think it would come across as common knowledge not to do so, but you'd be surprised. So, you definitely don't want to stand on the boss, and the main reason is he will have an ability called Seeping Shaw. Seeping Shaw will do 100k to you every single second you are standing on him, so you definitely don't want to stand where he is. Now I'm going to go ahead and explain just how you get Immerseus' corruption down to 0, which you must do in order to win out the fight. Now, the first step is to get Immerseus down to 0 health. This will bring him into his transition phase, otherwise known as Split. This will let him split into numerous amounts of different puddles that are spread across the room. He splits into 2 different kinds of puddles. The first is a Shaw puddle, which is black in color, and it must be DPS down. It only has about 250 to 300 100k, but there are many of them scattered throughout, as you see on screen, and they must be DPS down as quickly as possible, but that shouldn't be too much of a concern considering they do have such little health. But you need DPS spread around the room during the encounter, or at least when he's getting ready to split. That way you can cover more ground more quickly. That is what I would recommend, because we had too many on one side, and then too many hit the boss, and then we went boom. It was a wipe. So that's what I would recommend. Now, the second kind of puddle is the Contaminated Bottle. It is light blue in color, and it must be healed up by the healers. Again, with only about 250 to 300k health, it's not that big of a concern, and there are significantly less contaminated puddles than there are Shaw puddles. So, as far as the healers, you should be good for the most part. I'd say the Shaw puddles are the main point of concern. Now, what are the significance of these puddles? Well, they race towards Immerseus, the middle of the platform, in order to combine with him. Depending on how many Shaw puddles you kill and how many contaminated puddles you heal up, the Immerseus's corruption bar will go down that much more. So say you kill just about every Shaw puddle and heal up just about every contaminated puddle. Let's say that'll bring Immerseus's corruption to about 80 out of 100. So we killed only about a few, and it brought him down to 93 corruption. So that's a fair ratio, I'd say. Now, upon reaching Immerseus, whichever puddles you have not killed or healed up will do about 75k damage apiece, which is why you want to kill as many as possible, on top of the fact that it lowers Immerseus' corruption bar a significant amount, which is obviously the point of the fight. If you don't kill enough of them, it will also wipe your raid, as it did with us. So this fight is very unique. I loved it. It was very much fun. It was a bit difficult because we didn't spread correctly, but it was also very much fun, and I am interested to see when they tune it more, low, how it will really tune out, and especially when it comes up live. So I hope this guide was helpful enough for all of you, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.